Donald Trump plans to take over Gaza, expel Palestinians, and build real estate his family very well could profit from. And Ben Norton connects the dots on this. He says, since returning for his second term as U.S. president, Trump has been as pro-Israel and anti-Palestinian as he could possibly be, as we all knew would happen. Anyone who voted for Trump thinking it was good for Palestinians or voted for Biden thinking it was good for Palestinians, you are a dum-dum. Trump signed an executive order calling to deport international students who protest Israel's crimes against Palestinian people. He also imposed sanctions on the ICC. The U.S. will take over the Gaza Strip, he said, and we will do a job with it, too. We'll own it, he said. The Trump family, and I covered this in a past show, what I didn't cover is the Trump family could profit from the colonization of the Palestinian land. The U.S. president's son-in-law, Jared Kushner, who is married to Trump's daughter, has significant real estate investments in Israeli firms that profit from the expansion of illegal settlements in occupied Palestinian territory. He's getting a little of that gravy, getting a little of that nice milking that. Can you milk gravy? Milking that nice gravy out of genocide. Trump and Kushner have both publicly proposed ethnically cleansing Palestinians, expelling them from Gaza, and building luxury real estate on the Mediterranean Sea. Trump stated, this is with Netanyahu sitting next to him, he said, level the site and get rid of the destroyed buildings, level it out, create an economic development that will supply unlimited numbers of jobs and housing for the people of the area, do a real job, do something different. Palestinians just can't go back. So he has said the Palestinians will not be going back, which, as I covered in the last show, is the definition of ethnic cleansing. That's what that is, to clear people out, ethnic cleansing. Kushner, in an interview at Harvard University, was salivating. He said Gaza's waterfront property, it could be very valuable, too, if people would focus on kind of building up, livelihoods, Kushner said. Mere months after the Trump administration left office in 2021, Kushner founded a Florida-based investment company called Affinity Partners. Saudi Arabia promptly announced that its sovereign wealth fund would invest $2 billion in Kushner's firm. Okay, so immediately after Trump leaves, founds this firm in Florida. Saudi Arabia invests $2 billion in it. The Saudi monarchy told Kushner that its money should specifically be invested in Israeli companies. So this was not like behind Saudi Arabia's back. He was investing in Israeli companies. No, Saudi Arabia wanted that. A few days before Trump returned to office in January 2025, Israeli regulators approved a deal in which Kushner's Saudi-backed fund, Affinity Partners, would double its stake in Phoenix Financial, an Israeli company that has profited from illegal settlements in occupied Palestinian territory. It is not only the Trump family, but also the Saudi monarchy that may profit from the expansion of illegal Israeli settlements and the ethnic cleansing of Palestinians. So it's not a lot of dots you got to connect here to show that Trump and Kushner stand to actually profit from this ethnic cleansing. Not just do it for the U.S. empire, not just do it because Israel owns our Congress and our government, none of those reasons. Also, they're doing, those reasons as well, but also because they stand to make a lot of money by ethnically cleansing that area, building it up, and selling it off. Furthermore, there is, more than enough evidence that Israel and its investors, such as Saudi Arabia and the U.S., want a pipeline that cuts through Gaza. Furthermore, there's been oil and gas found out in the ocean there off Gaza, a lot of oil and gas that they would like to exploit. And by the way, you might think that what I'm about to tell you is a Onion headline. This is literally serious. Netanyahu gifted Trump a golden pager when he saw him. Why a pager? Some of you may know, because Israel used pagers to commit a terror attack in Lebanon, where they blew up something like 3,000 pagers, killed 12 people, I think, seriously injured, hundreds more. So he gave Trump a golden pager. It says on the plaque, to President Trump, our greatest friend and greatest ally. And literally a golden pager mounted on a slice of olive tree. And this also speaks to Israel's death and destruction and their ethnic cleansing and genocide. When you destroy an area and you want to destroy a people, often what is done is you also destroy their means of feeding themselves, their means of survival. Olive trees are incredibly important to many Israelis, but also to many Palestinians. And so it's basically like, look, we have chopped down the olive trees. We've chopped down the thing that has meaning. And olive trees grow for hundreds of years. So you're chopping something that's pretty irreplaceable. And, Israelis have, as they continue to commit their horrible attacks on Palestinians, have been shown to do things like in the dead of night, go into olive tree farms and fill burn a hole in the middle of the tree and fill it with cement, which is apparently how you can kill them, stop them from regrowing. It's that kind of absolute awful, horrible shit that is done by these so-called settlers. Settlers. That's a nice euphemism for land thieves. While meeting with Trump at the White House on February 4th, Netanyahu gifted the U.S. president a golden pager, a symbol of a terrorist attack that Israel carried out in Lebanon in September. A dozen Lebanese civilians were killed in the attack, including children. Even former CIA director and U.S. Defense Secretary Leon Panetta admitted it was a form of terrorism. I played that clip for you when he said it. Former head of the CIA, former head of the Defense Department, Leon Panetta, said it was a terrorist attack. Trump praised the Israeli terror attack as a great operation. Lovely, lovely. And it's, again, dictionary definition of ethnic cleansing, dictionary definition of genocide, dictionary definition of terrorism, all of those things. Trump is going after the ICC, the International Criminal Court. And keep in mind all of the grounds that Trump is now walking on, these paths that were set forward for him were set forward under the Biden administration. This genocide was well over a year old under the Biden administration. Going after the ICC, insulting them, saying they're not legit, all done by the Biden administration. Then Trump gets to office and he just says, well, how can I take it one step further? Well, I'll put sanctions on the International Criminal Court. And he has put sanctions on the chief prosecutor, Karim Khan, is the first target of the sanctions. The ICC chief prosecutor, first person from the War Crimes Tribunal to be hit by U.S. sanctions imposed by Trump. Reuters has reported Khan was named on Friday in an annex to an executive order signed by Trump a day earlier, imposing economic and travel sanctions on the ICC staff and their families. Trump imposed the sanctions on the court in response to arrest warrants it issued for Israeli Prime Minister Netanyahu and former Defense Minister Yoav Gallant. Both are accused by Khan and the court of committing war crimes against Palestinians in Gaza, including using starvation as a weapon of war. Reuters notes that Trump's sanctions include freezing U.S. assets of those designated and prohibiting them and their families from visiting the U.S. The order directed the Treasury Secretary, Scott Bessent, to submit the names of those individuals to be sanctioned within 60 days. If you're going to, listen, folks, if you're going to get involved in the fun game of violating all international laws, international norms, committing war crimes, committing genocide, you're going to get involved in that. You also got to just knock the knees out from under any international groups, courts, organizations that might raise their hand and go, we think you're a war criminal. So you got to do whatever you can to stop them as well. You can't, you got to nip that stuff in the bud. So part of it is to defund them if you're involved in the funding. Part of it's to sanction them. Part of them's to say, oh no, ICC doesn't count when it's us, when we're the ones committing the crimes. When it's Russia, sure, we love the ICC, but when it's us, it just doesn't ring the same way, does it?